A major doctors group now says it's time to legalize marijuana. The California Medical Association is calling for pot to be regulated like alcohol or cigarettes. And for the first time ever, half of Americans agree. A new Gallup poll shows 50% say marijuana should be legal. California collects an estimated $105 million per year in sales tax on medical marijuana, and some say that if you open it up, that would be a prescription for the ailing economy across the country. Alan St. Pierre is the director of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, known as NORML, and David Evans is special advisor to the Drug Free America Foundation. So, David, let me start with you. Do these numbers surprise you at all?
Well, you know, with any kind of survey, it depends on how the question is asked and the kind of information is conveyed in the question. But the argument that we would be able to raise a lot of tax money if we legalize marijuana is really a false argument. It doesn't really stand up to analysis. If we legalize marijuana, marijuana use is going to either double or triple. And that means that all of the societal costs connected with marijuana use are going to double and triple. And it's going to far outstrip any money that we would get in from any tax revenue. This has been the case with alcohol. This has been the case with tobacco. I mean, the tax on a pack of cigarettes is a couple of dollars. The estimated social damage done by a pack of cigarettes is $10. So it's about 5 times the amount.
And Alan, that's the argument, obviously, that has been made consistently. It's one that we have heard from some segments of the Obama administration. What about the societal costs of legalizing marijuana?
Well, there's no comparison to tobacco. Government studies make no fair comparison to the 400,000 people a year that die in this country because they choose to use tobacco. And according to the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, relatively few people die because they use marijuana. So that's just not a fair comparison. The better comparison is with alcohol prohibition, which of course was an abject failure. The cost to society regarding marijuana is arresting 850,000 people per year, 90% of them for possession only. Approximately 100,000 people are in jail for marijuana-only related crimes. We take away people's driver's license. We take away their student loans. The cost to society is the prohibition cost.
And I'm wondering, Alan, if you think that part of these changing numbers, though, has to do, frankly, with the bottom line, that people do believe that you could make tax dollars by legalizing marijuana.
Chris, there's 4 major reasons why marijuana legalization, as compared to what David was saying about the question being asked, if you put this on an average chart, this looks like a great stock rising. This has gone up over 30 percentage points in the last 10 years. The serious recession we're living through has definitely sharpened politicians' attention about this. The baby boom generation that definitely has a different attitude about marijuana than, say, the World War II generation does. Social media, and the fact that after 74 years of prohibition of marijuana, we're just prohibition weary in this country. We don't want it anymore.
Well, David, what do you make of these numbers? I mean, why do you think, if everything that you've argued is true, why are we seeing this steady rise in the number of people who believe let's just get marijuana legal? And I wonder if part of it, too, is just the toll that people believe that an illegal drug trade takes, as Alan pointed out, the number of people who are in jail, the cost to society in that way.
Well, first of all, his figures about people being in jail for marijuana possession are false. I have been a criminal defense attorney for 40 years. Very, very few people ever do any time in prison for marijuana. In federal prisons, for example, the average amount that somebody is put in prison for possession of marijuana is 115 pounds. Those are major traffickers. Most people, overwhelmingly, never do a day in jail for possession of small amounts of marijuana.
So the 850,000 arrests a year, what happens to those people that get arrested?
Mr. St. Pierre, I was very courteous to let you talk. When you were talking, now please let me talk. Marijuana is toxic to the body. It has more carcinogens than tobacco. The state of California, the Environmental Protection Agency there, just declared marijuana smoke to be a carcinogen. Why in God's name would we want to do anything to encourage more marijuana use? It causes permanent brain damage in children. It's involved in industrial accidents, in drug driving accidents. health care costs, birth defects, all of which have been extensively documented, including the California Medical Association in their own documents says these sorts of things. So why in God's name would we want to visit more social problems in our society? You know, back when we had 9/11,
we need to let that be the last word. But David Evans, Alan St. Pierre, a provocative discussion and one people are starting to talk about once again. Thank you both.